guys, it's Liz. Welcome back to the channel where we learn archery, but not basic algebra. Hope you're making the most of it. Today we're going to be redrawing a screenshot from Inuyasha. I wanted to talk about where I officially fell in love with anime and how it's influencing me now. But before I get into that, I just want to say this is a two-part video. The first one will have me doing a voiceover, but in the next one, I'll just have music playing in the background. I wanted to post both within the same week, just because you shouldn't have to wait a full week for the second half of this drawing. I think that's a little silly. So yeah, the second video will just have music. I've also been pretty burnt out. I got exposed to COVID at work, so I've been kind of on edge and it's hard to make content right now. Second of all, if you are an LGBT artist and you are interested in being interviewed, contact me on Instagram for details on that. I want to do interviews for a blog post similar to what I did for Pride Month. Before I talk about the drawing itself, I just wanted to give some background on my love of this show. When I was growing up, Cartoon Network was my jam. I loved watching cartoons so much. Cartoon Network shares their channel with Adult Swim, which I wasn't allowed to watch. That wasn't a super enforced rule in the house. If the TV was quiet, I usually got away with it, but if I got caught, I got in a lot of trouble. But if you've ever watched Adult Swim, you would know that they specialize in, I would call, experimental content. That's what we're calling it. It was a mixture of like super weird, gross, or obscene stuff, but I watched it because I didn't hate all of it. If you've ever watched Adult Swim, you probably know what I mean. Like, have you ever seen Robot Chicken? It's like not good for a 10-year-old to see. And I had no idea how channel blocks worked, so I didn't know that they only showed anime one day of the week. But Inuyasha was one of the shows that I stumbled upon as a little kid, and I fell in love with it. It was my very favorite anime in the whole wide world, even more than Naruto and Pokemon, and it's actually a fairly tame show compared to most of the stuff you'll find on Adult Swim. It's only rated TV 14 for like blood and swears. I tried to explain that to my parents, and they weren't having it. They're like, no, you're 10. You can't see blood and swears, but you can watch South Park with us, that's fine. I don't understand. I think the other anime that I watched on those nights were probably more psychologically damaging than anything I saw on Inuyasha. So you're probably watching this because you are also a fan of the show, so I won't explain how the show works, but what really stuck with me in my subconscious was the relationship dynamic between Kagome and Inuyasha. Whenever I started getting to the age where I was having crushes, and I knew what they were, I was also struggling with my feelings and articulating them, so I related to the characters a lot and how they don't usually articulate their feelings. As an adult, seeing their relationship dynamic is like kind of cute, but also very frustrating because I'm an adult now, so if I like someone, I'll just say it. But these characters are, well, Kagome is 15 and Inuyasha is 200, but emotionally like 17 or something. So I have to give them some slack because they're the age of high schoolers. So they have high school feelings and they act that way, but also it's very frustrating to watch sometimes as a grown adult. I don't know, it's still kind of cute whenever they're all like, bless you. I don't know, it's fun. It's fun. I also loved how the mythology and fantasy elements leak into Kagome's like super normal life. I've been a fan of that type of storytelling for a long time. The way it works in the show really inspired my perceptions of what fantasy should be. And I'm kind of struggling to find media I like that does a similar thing, because the only other example people normally give me is like what Alice in Wonderland, but I hate Alice in Wonderland. So if you have an anime rec where it's a normal person who has access to a mythological land, but they can also go home sometimes, I would love to hear it. So this drawing took me 3 hours. I don't spend as much time as I'd like on fan art, but starting today, this will change in the coming months. Another problem that I've had for a long time is not challenging myself to do fan art, like, at all. I always would get frustrated that I couldn't emulate the characters' likenesses, so I would give up. I would get halfway through a sketch and be like, no, I don't like it, so it's just gone now. A lot of my fan art is gone. And I am actually one of the people that believes fan art is a very valid form of expression, especially if you are trying to build an online audience. Because some people think that's cheating. How is that cheating? You make friends by sharing your interests, so why can't you build an audience that you have stuff in common with? If you like the same things as your audience, then it's more likely that you have other personality traits in common. So, for instance, me liking anime means that I'm gay and have no friends. So, by developing a portfolio that includes a lot of anime, I will produce a fan base of gay, lonely people. It's just science, baby. So now that I'm incorporating more fan works with increasing amounts of audacity, I can start mixing fanfiction with my original work. Al and Hen are dimension hopping in my story, so I have the choice of fully developing 11 other universes, which are totally unique and take forever to build, or I can make a fat-ass crossover fanfiction. The universe of Inuyasha might be the first one that I tackle. I've been chewing through these episodes like it's my job, so I have a pretty up-to-date perception of the universe itself. So let's talk about where I'm at with this drawing. I'm basically just trying to get through the pain of my work not looking exactly like the original. That's something I'm wanting to improve on. Screen cap redraws are a really good way of exercising your stylizing abilities versus the original work. If your art style is very pronounced and well crafted, that'll show up when you make the piece. People will see your work before they see that it's directly referenced from something. So you'll also see the weaknesses of your art style because you'll lean on the reference more. So you will see firsthand exactly where you have a weak mental library of those things. So for me, that was like, I struggled with the sitting poses because I do a lot of standing positions. So that was one of the bigger challenges. One of the caveats of referencing a drawing, however, is the fact that you will imitate their mistakes. So cartoon characters have to be drawn pretty quickly in order to move on and get the concept of that motion in place. So there may be issues with anatomy that the artist just skipped over because it's not glaring enough to be worth fixing. Another issue that I have is suffering from same face syndrome, and you can see how awkward it is for me to develop unique faces for these totally different characters. Anime is not the first place you go to when you're trying to fix your same face syndrome. They're probably struggling more than you are, simply because there are only so many ways you can stylize a cartoon face. So maybe it's time to talk about where I succeeded. I'm not usually this active when it comes to critiquing my own art, which is why my style has been at a standstill. I did a really good job of thumbnailing the characters before getting more specific with the details. I learned this trick of zooming out to get the basic shapes before going in and getting the actual details in there. So that is something that I did well and I'm happy about. I also finished the damn thing. It's missing a lot of details, like Sango and Shippo, two characters that I love a lot, but in the next video you'll see me actually render a background, however simple it is, which I don't really do in any of my videos, or off camera even. The fact that I did a background at all is a pretty big victory for me, despite how simple it actually is. I had already spent 3 hours on the piece, and I don't like to spend too much time on my drawings for YouTube because it's hard to, I don't know, it's just hard to edit a video if Shotcut crashes. And that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it this far in the video, I assume you liked it. If that is indeed true, then like the video, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and comment below. It means a lot to me to know that you are interested. So thanks guys. I'll see you next Tuesday. Oh, P.S. I forgot to mention that the second video will be within this week. It should be on Thursday because that's my other off day, so I'll be able to actually have it ready by then. Thanks guys.